In this module, we're going to take a look at some of the world's intellectual property structures, such as the WIPO, the Berne Convention, and the IIPA. The World Intellectual Property Organization is the United Nations specialized agency in this area. It seeks to develop a balanced and accessible international intellectual property system, which rewards creativity, stimulates innovation, and contributes to economic development while safeguarding public interests. The WIPO is the oldest organization in the field of IP protection. It was created at a diplomatic conference in 1893. The two offices applying the administrative functions of the Paris Convention for the protection of industrial property and the Berne Convention for the protection of literary and artistic works united in a single entity, the United International Bureau for the Protection of Intellectual Property. The member states wanted to make this International Bureau a fully fledged intergovernmental organization. That's why in 1967 in Stockholm, the WIPO was created through the signing of the convention. It's headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. In 1974, the WIPO became a UN specialized agency. Under the agreement, the WIPO should stimulate creativity and promote IP protection all over the world through the cooperation between countries. At the time of this recording, the WIPO included 191 member states. The main functions of the WIPO are the ones that you see there on the screen. The prime and most important WIPO function is administering multilateral international conventions. Today, the WIPO administers the treaties in the fields of industrial property, copyright, and related rights. The Berne Convention deals with the protection of works and the rights of their authors. It's based on three basic principles and contains a series of provisions determining the minimum protection to be granted, as well as special provisions available in developing countries that want to make use of these provisions. The three basic principles are these. Works originating in one of the contracting states must be given the same protection in each of the other contracting states as the latter grants to the works of its own nationals. This is the principle of national treatment. Secondly, the protection must not be conditional upon compliance with any formality. This is the principle of automatic protection. And the protection is independent of the existence of protection in the country of origin of the work, which is the principle of independence. If, however, a contracting state provides for a longer term of protection than the minimum prescribed by the convention, and the work ceases to be protected in the country of origin, the protection may be denied once protection in the country of origin ceases. The minimum standards of protection relate to the works and rights to be protected and to the duration of protection. As to works, protection must include every production in the literary, scientific, and artistic domain, whatever the mode or form of its expression. Subject to certain reservations, limitations, or exceptions, the rights on the slide are among the rights that must be recognized as exclusive rights of authorization. The Convention also provides for moral rights, that is, the right to claim authorship of the work and the right to object to any mutilation, deformation, or other modification of or other derogatory action in relation to the work that would be prejudicial to the author's honor or reputation. As to the duration of protection, the general rule is that protection must be granted until the expiration of the 50th year after the author's death. There are, however, exceptions to this general rule. In the case of anonymous or pseudonymous works, the term of protection expires 50 years after the work has been lawfully made available to the public, except if the pseudonym leaves no doubt as to the author's identity, or if the author discloses his or her identity during that period. In the latter case, the general rule applies. In the case of audiovisual works, The minimum term of protection is 50 years after the making available of the work to the public, or failing such an event, from the creation of the work. In the case of works of applied art and photographic works, the minimum term is 25 years from the creation of the work. The Berne Convention is open to all states. Instruments of ratification or accession must be deposited with the Director General of the WIPO. The International Intellectual Property Alliance, or IIPA, is a private sector coalition formed in 1984 of trade associations representing U.S. copyright-based industries working to improve international protection and enforcement of copyrighted materials, and to open up foreign markets closed by piracy and other market access barriers. Members of the IIPA include the Association of American Publishers, the Entertainment Software Association, Independent Film and Television Alliance, the Motion Picture Association of America, and the Recording Industry Association of America. Inexpensive and accessible reproduction and transmission technologies make it easy for copyrighted materials to be pirated in other countries. As technology rapidly changes, IIPA and its member associations work to ensure that high levels of copyright protection and effective enforcement become a central component in the legal framework for the growth of global electronic commerce. Working with U.S. government, foreign governments, and local rights holder representatives, analyzing copyright laws and enforcement regimes in countries around the globe, IIPA and its member associations seek improvements that will foster economic, technological, and cultural developments in these countries that will deter piracy and improve market access. These changes, in turn, will hopefully encourage local investment, creativity, innovation, and employment.